Oh, g'day guys, good to see you again. Today, what we're doing, surprisingly, not surprisingly at all, is working on the patrol again. But it's very exciting today. You can probably tell by the title of the video that we are getting down and dirty, prepping this thing for paint. So I'm having trouble getting some Raptor at the moment, but that's not going to stop us from getting this primed, prepped, looking mint, and try and get it in one colour. I don't even know if I have to prime it, to be honest. I'm sort of just going to suss that out, but we at least need to do a lot of sanding. There's a ding I need to pull out, and I think I'm just going to put the fenders back on and just paint it like the car is complete, if that makes sense. So have the fenders on, bonnet on, the whole lot, and just spray it with the Raptor as we go. So today, that's pretty much what we're doing. So these are the fenders. I've gone and got these from the box that we pulled off, as you can see in there. Pretty crusted up, pretty gnarly looking. Some old rusty stuff, some old dirt. There's probably a bit of glassy dirt in there. This is the first piece that I've bolted back on since we started stripping stuff off, I think. So I'm pretty keen for this. This is a memorable moment for me. Enough talking, let's get to some working. And we're filming on the new GoPro 9. I did splash out, so pretty keen to see the footage on this. We are shooting at a different frame rate and a different resolution. I'm not too good with cameras, but just let me know if there's a quality difference. I'd be keen to hear from the boys. Alright, let's get to cleaning these fenders up, alright? Alright, so I'm just noticing, which I sort of didn't think about to look for before, but there's a bit of surface rust, just all through here. So what I'm going to do before I bolt this on is I'm actually going to wire wheel this whole thing and just lay a strip of black paint down there. I think it's going to be a good idea to get all that done because, yeah, we don't like rust. Rust is our enemy, so I might chuck her back up here on that table and just wire wheel it and paint it. Right guys, so those two quarter panels are painted now. New plan, they're staying in primer. I'm just going to bolt them on with like a couple of bolts and get bolted on so I can sand majority of the panel and it's not going to move around on me. So for now, those two are going to dry. I will bolt them back on very shortly. Then we can actually start sanding this thing. As you can see, the shade has gone right back to there, which is why we're doing this in the afternoon. I'm just going to pull the car out so we don't make heaps of sanding dust in the workshop and just start sanding it, and hopefully that air compressor is going to hold up because she had a bit of drama last week. All this flaky paint has to go, and see all that, it's crap. So it all has to go. You guys seen that I primed that. So yeah, almost ready. I'll just wait for that to dry and then I'll just chuck a couple bolts in and then we can start rubbing it down. So there's 4 bolts in that now, and as you can see I'm moving it around, it's not going to move. So when we sand that, it's going to be much better than trying to hold it on a sawhorse or something. It's looking good. Haven't seen that fender on in a long time. Alright, so that looks sick. I'm so happy to have these back on actually. So I'm just going to go quickly do the other side and then pull it out and we can start sanding. All right, guys, so we got the patrol pulled out. It's finally ready to start sanding it. Well, it's like half ready, half not. But anyway, I'm going to start. I don't know how much we're going to get finished today because obviously sanding's a massive job. But what we've got lined up, orbital sander. We've got a whole bunch of sanding pads in this bag. We're going to start with a really low grit, like what's that? That is a 60. I think a 60 will do. That's really aggressive. And we're going to flap the whole thing at a 60. We'll probably do panel by panel actually, so not the whole thing. We'll just do like, say this side, and then we'll hit it with a lower grit, and should turn out good. Okay, so two things just happened. The new GoPro ran out of battery and I only have one battery, so I can't recharge that. But the other thing that's happened is halfway through sanding this, so pretty much got that completely sanded, this like 90% sanded. The air compressors flipped the safety switch again, so this is what happened to us last week when we were working on the nav. I don't know what's wrong with it. I thought we fixed it, but gonna have to check that out at some point next week, or probably just buy an electric sander so it's not so much stress on the old air compressor. But where I'm at is I've sanded back to bare metal in a couple of spots, so I'm gonna have to prime them, and I only have one can of primer, so this is basically all this is bare metal. There is a little ding there that I'm going to try and just hit out real quick from the bottom under there, but because that's bare metal, we need to prime so it doesn't rust, and I only have one can of primer. So there's three things. We're out of battery on the GoPro, the air compressor's dead, the primer, there's only one can. So this is where we're going to have to stop for today. Doesn't mean this video is over, it just means this is where I'm stopping today. So I'm going to quickly pull this back into the shop. I've already blown it down. I'm going to try and fix that little ding, and then I'm just going to prime over the top of it, and that's us for today. Pretty cool to see a bit of color on the panel though. It's going to be roughly that color. I mean, it's going to be a little bit darker, but you know, it's going to be very close. But anyway, thank you for watching this little bit. Hopefully I pass you on to the next night and we keep working. Don't be lazy, Tom, keep working. All right, catches. Righto guys, it's actually about a week later, and I've pulled the GQ out. I'm not gonna bore you guys too much, but I am about to start sanding. We only got one side done, and then the air compressor died. Got it fixed, found out it was 2 head gaskets were heavily leaking, so I'm hoping that now I can just continuously sand this thing and have no issues. But I did come more prepared this time with an electric sander if it does fail again. So I'm just going to keep sanding. I also did just go and get some epoxy. Epoxy is like a really strong type of paint, so it's a lot better than the aerosol can. So I've got epoxy etch and a mix for it as well. We do have a mini top loader here, so I'm hoping that I can top load this thing, and we'll get a much better finish than that rattle can stuff. So I've just about finished the bonnet with a 60 grit, and then I will go over it with just a little bit of a finer sandpaper, but obviously back down to bare metal where these all these stone chips were, just to get rid of them. You see how many there were. There's just little bit stone chips, but because this is a rattle can primer, I'm going to take this back and the door back to what it was, like back to bare metal or primer, like the original primer, so that we can hit it with the epoxies, because it's obviously, like I said, the epoxy is way better. So just a bit of a progress update. Basically an hour into the bonnet now, and it's looking pretty good. All right, so the whole ute has been sanded. Ryan's actually, he's been giving me a hand, but we've got all the back done, roof, everywhere that we've sort of gonna get the paint on, obviously. And the only thing we're not doing is the door jambs. We have taken the door handles and the locks out, and pretty much we're just going to have to leave the window down to get in and out of it, but it's all looking pretty good. We're just going to have to shift the ute now around the back so I can wet all the floor. I don't really want to be painting out here because it's obviously outside, you get all imperfections in your paint, so we'll just go around the back, start masking it up, and hopefully get this thing painted tonight. Ryan's got something to say.
What have I got to say?
That D-Max is a shit.
Oh, come off it, mate. What a bucket of shit. Hunko junk.
So we're losing daylight.
Wait,
Ryan,
do that again because I was in it earlier.
jeez. Ryan's actually just halfway through masking it up. Still got to do these windows here, but that shouldn't be too hard. I'll put this mat over the back. Once this is all masked up, all we've got to do is wipe it down and then spray it, which is the fun part. Alright, so me and Ryan have actually wiped down the whole car and pretty stoked because she's just about ready for paint. Just gonna have to, this is my first time shooting etch primer, so I'm gonna have to mix it 50-50. I'm gonna try and sort that out here first and load it up in a little mini top loader that I got. And good luck to me. I'm actually pretty nervous, to be honest. Alright, so sorry we're not filming too much. This is pretty boring work, to be honest, but Ryan's going to mix up a 2-to-1 ratio of primer. So where are we going to? This is going to be
2 to 1, so you're going, part A goes to there.
You right?
Yep. Keep going. It's up here. Slow down. It's going to get everywhere. Actually might work in our favour. Pretty close.
Close enough. That's probably alright though.
Try that.
Probably alright. What do you reckon? Bad form or good form?
Yeah, it's probably the same.
Right, so as you can see behind me, the car looks painted, but it's actually not completely painted. We did run out of paint. So we've got this whole side done and the bonnet done and the roof and the back and this side, I'll be able to show you. So we got that fender done and this door, the roof and the back isn't actually done yet. So what pretty much happened is the tin of paint is like a little bit off and it just had like chunks that wouldn't break up in the bottom of it. So whether it's the tin's fault for not producing enough paint, I think I just didn't buy enough. And it's very close to what it's gonna be like. So that's gonna give you a good representation of how it's actually gonna sit and how it's gonna look. So I'm pretty happy with that. It looks friggin' mint actually. Super stoked. So you can see even some of the bonnet and the top of that roof up there. I haven't done that yet. You can see little bits of imperfections that just hasn't got enough coverage on it. So really bummed out we couldn't finish it tonight, but it does look really, really good. So cheering about that, bummed out about not having enough paint. So anyway, this video will continue. So see you guys later. Righto guys, I have about 1,000 billion lumens of light in my face right now and it's really hurting, but I'm going to try my best to explain what's going on. Last night we etch primed obviously half the car and ran out of paint. Now I was going to come in early and pretty much finish it off with like Bunnings paint. Done a bit of research last night and it turns out you can't just use any etch primer, which obviously I've gone and bought just some cheap stuff. So what I ended up doing is I went to a paint supply place for some advice, which I probably should have done in the first place, but hey, we live and we learn, and I'm definitely learning right now. So went to the paint supply place. He did tell me that the etch primer that I've used is wrong as well. So he supplied me with like more of an all-purpose like bare metal end paint. etch primer, so it's going to adhere a lot better, and the Raptor is going to adhere to that a lot better. I've also gone and got a bigger top loader. This was ours, but we lost it and we finally found it. So this is obviously a much better top loader. I haven't done much painting, I don't really understand it. I'm starting to learn it a lot more, but we did have the wrong tip size and I was running the wrong pressure. So it's very important when you do paint certain paints that you use the right tip size, and you also use, you know, the right air pressure, and pretty much there's like a sequence to painting everything. So we weren't following the sequence, we weren't doing it right, which isn't the way I like to do things. So pretty much what I've actually had to do is sand back all the paint that we put on last night. So it's taken me about 4 hours to do that, which absolutely sucks, but I just bowled it over because, you know, it's crap. You guys don't want to watch it. I didn't want to do it, but I sort of had to. And that's pretty much where we're at now. I've pulled it back in. I've masked up because I did have to unmask to move it out this morning, so that even that sucked. So I've masked it back up, I've wiped it down, I've sanded it all back, and she is ready for some top loading action. So the paint we've got is still a 50-50 mix, which is good. So I did go and buy some bigger mixers, cups I guess you'd call them, and hopefully this is going to turn out much better. I mean, it turned out, I honestly reckon it turned out sick last night, but apparently it's just something to do with etch prime. That primer had to be for bare metal only. So anyway, something like that. I don't really understand it, but what we're doing is we're going to start spraying because I'm sick of looking at this multicolored Patrol. Righto guys, the Patrol is now fully grey. I'm on my last coat, still got to do one more. Sorry for the night footage too, it's just the only time I can really get it done, but it looks mint, so hope you guys are as stoked as I am, because I am freaking stoked. Right now I'm on my last coat, which means we're almost done. I'm going to unmask it, then you guys are going to see it out in the daylight. Obviously not tonight, I want to show you guys how good it's going to look in the daylight. Like, my painting's not perfect and the prep's not perfect either, obviously, because it's getting raptored, but it does look pretty good, in all honesty. So, yeah, it's cool to see it in the grey. Like, it's going to be not the same. So the grey we're going is a little bit darker, so it's not going to be exactly the same, but just gives you guys a bit of a sneak peek. If you're wondering about a time frame, I've been here for probably like 100 years, so just make sure you plan like 50 to 150 years to do your project, like paint it and get all that sort of stuff done, because you know it is a timely process. All right, I'm going to finish this video here. You guys are going to see this in the next clip out in the sunlight. Hopefully it looks mint. So I got one more coat to do, then I'm going to unmask, then I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to wake up and cry because I'm not working on the Patrol. See you guys tomorrow.
Haven't got a clue as to why the world is filled with lies. But then again, we're sinful. the truth.